Good morning and welcome to Morning Pulse, the pulse of Nigerian politics right here in Active Citizens. My name is Sharon Enemchuku. Joining me, as always, I have my co-host with me in person of Ifoma Oji. Good morning, how are you doing?
Good morning, Sharon.
How are you doing?
I'm kicking.
We like the fact that you're kicking. We need the energy this morning.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to a brand new day. We're going straight to the headlines for today. First, Nigeria has woken up again to another wave of insecurity. Reports from SOKOTO confirm that armed bandits have kidnapped 6 federal directors and brutally killed a pregnant woman along with several others. This tragic incident raises fresh concerns about safety in the Northwest and the government's capacity to protect its citizens. Meanwhile, the political space is heating up. The All Progressive Congress APC has slammed former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir Lawal, for linking the rise in terrorism to the Muslim presidential ticket of the ruling party. The debate has reignited discussions on religion, leadership and accountability in Nigeria's fight against insecurity. Now we break down the human and political sides of these stories right here on Morning Pulse, and we are starting with this rather unfortunate incident that took place in Sokoto State, where 6 were abducted on their way to a promotional exam in Abuja, and a pregnant woman was killed in the course of this back and forth with bandits. Now I'm starting first with what they have come out to say. They have come out to complain that they have made so many attempts to ensure that for this promotional exams that it happens within the environs of these people, of the civil servants, and not going as far as to Abuja, the capital, to write such exams. And I want to just start from there first, Ifoma, and linking it to what we see happening in other sectors and in other organizations like the NYSC, where we have them still sending coppers to far distances just to go camp and serve. With the rising insecurity that we have, do you think that this whole sending of people or civil servants to different places, even coppers, should be revisited at this point?
It's not even now that it should be revisited. We have a government that, like I always say, is always reactive to situations like this instead of being proactive. You already know that there is insecurity, serious insecurity in Nigeria, especially the northern states. And what you're supposed to do is more like act, fast and decisively about people that serve you, because these are civil servants in the first place. You should be able to protect their lives. Apart from the civil servants, the NYSC core members that are going to different states, irrespective of the fact that they might actually meet their tragic end, still you deploy them to different states. It's actually sad that these bandits, they know at this point they don't reason the culture, where the tribes you're from or anything. They are just head bent on attacking, killing, and the entire rate. And it is so sad that our government have not considered or made it a priority to safeguard the people that they govern. It is actually very sad. Now I am still asking, even if there is an attack on the Christian or non-attack on the Christians, in the first place we are Nigerians, Sharon. We are Nigerians. How are people comfortable with butchering the people that, apart from the fact that you are not flesh and blood, you are still calling yourself a Nigerian? When you travel outside country, they ask you, which race do you belong to? You say you are a Nigerian, and you are a Nigerian, you're killing your own people. What does that say about you? I'm not talking about the international community now. I'm talking about you as a human being. Where has our conscience gone to? Where has our human gone to? Why have we become so irrational? Why have we become? Why have we allowed ourselves to be, infiltrated and kind of filled with a lot of, I don't know if I should call it wickedness. It is so sad to see every single time this thing is happening, every time we're discussing about it, and the government cannot do anything
Exactly.
about it. It is so sad.
It is sad to see situations like this, especially as when I would always say all eyes is actually on Nigeria with what Donald Trump came out to say, saying that there is Christian genocide happening in northern Nigeria, and it's as though instead of battling this issue and battling this matter, we are just sitting on our hands and waiting for something to happen first. Now, with this particular issue, right, these civil servants who were traveling and the pregnant woman that was slaughtered, which is the most inhuman thing that you would hear in a long while, being slaughtered. And when you ask the people, right, when you ask the police people there, they said that there has not been any formal complaint made. That was what we saw in the report, but they would look further into this particular matter. Now, let's talk about the presence, the security presence in these hot areas, the northern areas, Sokoto, especially that road along going to Abuja, where we've seen a lot of kidnappings happening early in the year. Now, what can we say about security presence, not even security action, the presence of the security in the first place in these hot zones in northern Nigeria?
Sharon, there is no security. There is no presence of any security. The only place we see security operatives are with desk officials. Those are the people that will deploy, or rather attach security to themselves to protect. God knows what they are protecting. There is no security anywhere, because if there is security anywhere, we won't be having these massive and vicious attacks on whether Christians or Muslims or anything. There is nothing like security.
All right, so now there's no security presence at all.
To officials, to political officials, those are the people that security exists in.
But you know that it's also interesting where these bandits have been going to, or how far they have reached now. Before, we'd hear of them abducting just normal civilians, people going about their day-to-day activities. Now, abducting people with this stature within the civil society, right? The civil service workers now who are working, who are directors, they have achieved a level of, status in the community or in the society at large, and them attacking these people. Do we think that over time that the morale of these bandits to even go far and beyond just abducting normal citizens or just ordinary citizens has increased because of the complacency of the present administration?
Exactly. Do you know that in the news, I saw in the news, was it 2 days ago, where some of those bandits came out in the public and they were saying that we should hold our leaders accountable, that is our government, this the federal government that is enabling them to attack civilians.
That is an interesting allegation.
Yes, I saw it and I was appalled by that video, and I'm like, why? I don't know. I don't have the data to say that it's the presidency or rather the federal government that is doing this. But for them to come out and tell you, oh, don't blame us, blame your government, they are the ones giving us the directive to attack. It shows that the government are fully aware of what is going on, and for the fact that these people are civil servants, they are not top officials, they are not the government, they are not the president, they are not the governors. You understand? If they are, then maybe we will talk about this thing that you're saying right now. But these people are still civil servants that don't even have a ground. They are still traveling from their state to a different state just for promotional exams. It means also that every civil servant, because of the fact that you are in government, you are at high risk.
All right. Now, let's also take into consideration that, this thing is something that has been ongoing for a long time, and it has become almost normal. And there's something that, as we talked about, the fact that there is no security presence in these hot zones. But let's also take a look at the fact that we've seen some videos, some people also in politics in Nigeria coming out to advise these people, especially in the northern Nigeria, saying that if you're waiting for Nigerian military or Nigerian security or the Nigerian government to come out and protect you, that you wouldn't see such. So it is best for you to come up, stand up and protect yourselves. Now, for people in such communities now, is that what we should be advising them, to protect themselves?
You know, the government, like I think I posted it in my status, this administration, security-wise, what's it called, economic-wise, they have failed Nigerians woefully. So at this point in time, nobody is even trusting the security operatives, the military men. Nobody. Nigerians have lost their trust and confidence in them. So the only thing now, if you ask the average Nigerian, they will tell you, if you know how, if you are a father, if you know how to protect your family and your community against attack, this vicious attack, then do so. Don't hope on the government.
And it is a very scary situation where we cannot rely on the appropriate security authority to get things done or to get us protected. You know, there's something interesting that I saw while reading this particular news report, is the fact that the banditry right now, the terrorism, let's not even call them bandits because that's a very cheap name to give people who commit such atrocities. What they do, they've gone as far as becoming an organization. They already have a sort of organization that they have in place, a structure. So in that particular news report, we can see that these bandits would come into these villages and give them a levy to pay. And if they're unable to pay that, they would return, destroy the village, and then kill people. So they already know these bandits, so they are working, they know that they are coming for them. It's not something that just happens out of the blue or something that happens and takes them by surprise. Imagine if we are living in fear, knowing that you have not been able to pay this levy, and that maybe in the next Eke market day or something, you are going to be beheaded. It is crazy. And I wanted us to, you know, get your take on that, because the Sokoto police force is saying that they have not gotten a formal complaint, but we have things like this happening in such villages.
So you're waiting for formal complaint before you attack these people, before you halt this massive killing. You're waiting for formal reports. Oh, Jesus. It
is insane. It is insane to listen
crazy.
to.
It is so sad. First of all, I didn't even, you know, commiserate with these people, that the family of these people that died. Our hearts goes out to them. It is so sad to lose, you know, your wife. It's so sad to lose your mother. It is so sad to lose a pregnant and expectant mother. It is extremely sad. Our hearts goes out to you people. I pray that God give you the grace to kind of pull through in this time of you know, trial and pain. And then as regards what you said, Sharon, is such a sad situation that you, every time you're sleeping, it's not even sleeping, both in the day, in morning, afternoon, night, you're always kind of conscious. You're always kind of in a state of dilemma. What will happen now? Are these people going to attack me? I don't even have any source of livelihood. The source of livelihood I have is not even enough to pay this, you know, bandits from attacking.
So it's like paying for your life.
Exactly. It's as if that you're actually paying to
stay alive.
And it is so sad, to be honest. Sharon, how do I talk about this for probably the government to see that people are going through pain? Let's leave the fact that people are not able to cater for their family. Let's leave the fact that people are not able to feed 3 square meals or even 2 in a day. What about the loss of lives? What are the government doing about it? Why are we still debating about people's lives? Why are we still having this conversation, whether Muslim or Christian?
It is unfortunate, especially with the fact that we have this data, we can see it happening. And you know, Nigeria is big, yes, but it's not somewhere you can't go and visit. There's always somebody somewhere in all of these states where you can get information from, and you know that these are real things happening, as opposed to the government coming out to share 25,000 naira and you won't hear of it happening. But you would have an uncle somewhere that knows of these killings happening, so it can't be a lie, it can't be cooked up. And this is what will bring us to the next story, because Babashir Lawal has come out to accuse the current administration for its Muslim tickets being what is actually giving these bandits the morale and the audacity to carry out with their atrocities in the society, because they feel that they are being backed by the current administration. But let's take a look at his comments and we'll return to the studio.
Is there a religious discrimination to the point that it can be described as a deliberate attempt to subjugate or some kind of genocide going on in northern Nigeria?
There are two things. You separate the emirate system and the traditional chieftaincy issues aside, jihad and those who were not conquered by jihad, and then the religion, and the consequent upon that, what is the dynamics between the Christianity and Islam. It appears that the jihadists have not forgiven the Christian community for not being conquered. And they have consistently used all manner of subterfuge to get that ascendancy. To the extent shown that if you call a Muslim nail cutter today, he's cut you and he will feel superior to you because he's Muslim. Now, one of the reasons why we protested the Muslim ticket was because, and I did say it here, it was going to give such fundamentalists, Islamic fundamentalists, the impetus, the courage to go ahead, feeling that now is their government. They've had a stamp of approval at the federal, so it's now an excuse for them to go down the line. It does happen. I gave you a story one time when a Fulani man, a headsman, entered my farm with his cows, and we arrested him. And we were taken him to the police station. And he was boasting that, do you think that I can come to your farm without somebody giving me the permission? This is our government. I was even then an SGF. And for a cattle herder to tell me that Buhari authorized him to go and do what, enter my farm, was very annoying. But you see, at his level of education, he thinks that because the president was a Muslim, he had the right to do whatever he wanted and get away with it. And now that is the consequence of the Muslim ticket. It has given them the courage to go the last mile, persecuting people, intimidating people, and killing people where they refuse to be intimidated.
Christians are being killed in the north.
Massively. Massively. Of course.
And this is a deliberate, so it's some kind of genocide, if you describe it that way.
It's a genocide. If it is not a genocide, it's a pogrom.
Give me a moment. We need to go on a break, everyone, but when we return, more on the conversation, especially as President Donald Trump...
Interesting story right there from former SDF and person of Babache Lawal, recounting how his farm was invaded by some Fulani herdsmen. And when arrested, they were boasting publicly, saying, oh, you think we can just enter your farm without backing? We have our president who is a Muslim and he is backing us. Now, this is what an ordinary Fulani herdsman was saying to the SDF as of that time in person of Babache Lawal. And, you know, that particular picture, that particular scenario is what I want us to take out and also relate it to other situations where we saw a young man whose farm was being invaded, you know, recently, and he defended his farm, defended his life, killed the Fulani herdsman, and is now being charged in court because he killed the Fulani herdsman. You know, it is really important to look at how all of these things connect. And he is saying that it is as a result of the Muslim tickets, which has given these people the morale. But what's your take on what he just said?
First of all, I think God bless this man. Even given the fact that he is in APC, it doesn't stop him from speaking the truth. Now, Muslim ticket we are talking about here, we know that Nigeria is kind of is pluralized with religion. We have the Islamic, we have the Christian, and a situation whereby you're giving tickets constantly to Muslims, it's kind of risks kind of, how should I, alienating other religions from feeling inclusive in governance. And from that, you're going to see a lot of protests and the rest of them. But that is actually not the bone of contention. The bone of contention here is that because of the fact that the the recent administration and the past administrations are all Muslims.
And this particular one is interesting. The past one was even better because the vice was a Christian, right? Now this is Muslim. Now we have the president, Muslim, the vice president. No, he's talking about the Muslim ticket. Okay. The current administration Muslim ticket, saying the president is Muslim, the vice president is Muslim. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, that's equally what I'm still saying. The Muslim tickets, the president, the former president is a Muslim, and now
no, the past administration was not a Muslim ticket. It was a Muslim Christian ticket.
I understand. What I'm talking about now is the fact that the past president was a Muslim, and then this current president is a Muslim, and we're still witnessing Muslim tickets, even if it was not dominant in the past administration. But was there a Muslim? Yes, there was a Muslim.
Yes.
Do you understand? That was what I'm trying to establish here, and is the fact that these people that go about attacking a lot of villages and farmers, they already have this upper hand that, oh, the president is giving me the order, or rather I am a Muslim and the president is a Muslim, the administration are all Muslim, so you don't have any right to even fight me or defend yourself. And it's so sad that they go about carrying these vicious attacks without being arraigned, without being prosecuted, because of the fact that they're equally Muslim and the present administration is equally Muslim. And for the fact that what you just mentioned, that a farmer defended his farm and killed some of these people, they are now arraigned in court, they are now prosecuted. It shows you the double standards in Nigeria. It shows you how Nigeria favors a particular region. It shows you how complicit the government is, and it is so sad that constantly, which starting from the time of Goodluck Jonathan, even before the time of Goodluck Jonathan, the Southeast have been clamoring for inclusivity in governance. And tell me up to date, how many Christians have been in leadership positions, especially the presidency seat? It's because these people have this ideology that power belongs to them, and there is no other religion that will actually attain that height.
The APC came out in defense of the current administration. They came out to say that the president being married to a Christian who is also a pastor solidifies his stance as a Democrat, and the Muslim ticket and the fear of Islamization of the entire Nigeria has not held water, right? And I also want to bring this to you. They keep bringing up the fact that the president is married to a Christian, and that Christian is also a pastor. Now, we know constitutionally in Nigeria, there is no office for the first lady. So she's not elected into office. She's just there by marriage, right? She is married to the president. It's like saying the child of the president should be given a position because he is just the son of the president. These are things that I don't understand how they relate. If you are married to somebody, is that not your family's business? Exactly. Do you think that should reflect when we are talking national business and national politics?
Not at all. Not at all. You shouldn't. This shouldn't be a defense at all in the first place, because the first lady you're talking about right now, is she the president? Is she the vice? Is she the deputy? What position does she hold in governance for you to say that because she is a Christian and she is equally a pastor? It does not make logical sense. Let's stop all these things. They have been giving awarding ticket to Muslim, and it has been dominant in Nigeria for decades, for a long time now. And I think it is time for this whole trajectory to end. It is time for you to include people. Now they came up with a different defense that is not a result of a Muslim ticket or Muslim Christian ticket, that is because of competence. And I'm asking, the former administration, the president is a Muslim. Now, did we see any form of change because of the fact that he is a Muslim? The former administration, did we see any? Okay, it was Goodluck administration. Before Goodluck, did we see any change? This present administration that have continuously disgraced Nigerians, did we see any competence? Can you say that these people are competent? Let's stop all these things. It does not make sense in the first place. The Southeast, the Christians are crying. Khan even came out to warn that this Muslim ticket of a thing is affecting the people that they are leading, the people that they are governing. That it's time for people to feel inclusive. It is time for people to feel, okay, we have a sense, we have a right.
And you don't think the present administration has carried out on that inclusivity when it concerns including people into governance, especially in particular appointments and positions? Do you think that they have shown an inclusivity when running the administration?
There is no form of inclusivity. There is no form, because apart from the government officials, just tell me how many military personnel we heard about Yerima of yesterday. Do you know? I don't even want to go too deep into history, because we are seeing that a lot of people that are in this positions, high positions, are people that they are mostly Muslims. Now the top officials in the military is a Muslim. So where is the place of the Christians in all these things? Where is the place of the Christians in the federal house? Where is the place of the Christians in Aso Rock? The only thing you are going to see is either they are assistants to this one or they are this one. They will never hold key positions. And it's still that same thing, or that right that these Muslims have, that they are the people that are meant to rule till eternity. And I think it is time for this to change.
It is time for it to change. And with what we have seen so far, this ideology, there's something Babasha Lawa also said, that you would see a Muslim nail cutter maybe just doing a menial job, and you're in the presence of someone with a higher position, and he feels he can rule over you just because he believes he is a Muslim, and the indoctrination that he has, the things that he has been taught. And it still boils down to the fact that our religious leaders, the Muslim clerics and the Christians as well, but just focusing on the situation ongoing, seeing that these Muslims and these jihadists are the ones behind all of these terrorist attacks, need to do so much better with what they tell their people, what they tell their listeners. Because if you look at it, they don't have access to education, or they refuse to have access to education, and they're just acting based off of what they have been told. Now, this is the place where the religious leaders need to sit up and do better. The other day we saw was it the Sultan of Sokoto coming out to say that the term jihadist is wrong, and it refers to striving or thriving, what the average Muslim faces in order to become a better Muslim, and it should not be related to terrorism attacks or terrorists and bandits. But the truth remains, this is what you're coming to tell us, but what are you telling your people in private? What messages do they teach? What sermons do they listen to? And I think this is where we need to start making changes, Ifoma. But before we call it a wrap on the show, do we think that religion and politics, we know they are very intertwined, but how do we think the present administration can sort of balance both religion and politics so that it doesn't clash?
It's simple. Let everybody feel inclusive. Let people not feel like they are sidelined. I see. It's not. I really don't want to be talking about religion every single time, because it is a sensitive topic. But at the same time, these people it's still human beings that are involved in it. They are Christians. It's still human beings that are Muslims. So I think the federal government, should try as much as possible to strike a balance. Okay. Let everybody feel like they matter. Let their voices be heard. Let it not just be one party always speaking every single time and always coming up with policy. Let other people still feel that they matter at the end of the day.
Exactly. The situation of inclusivity in Nigeria is something that everybody should pay close attention to. Now, not just religiously, but across genders, male, female, inclusivity in governance, inclusivity via religion, inclusivity via regions. Now, I think when all of these things are settled and handled properly, then we'll be on the right path to a better, growing, developing nation. citizen. If you're watching for the first time, this is Morning Pulse Writer and Active Citizens, and I'm your host, Sharon N.M. Chuku. Joining me today, as always, I have with me my co-host and person of Ifoma Oji. So thank you once again for joining us today on the show. And to you, our viewers, if you're a first-time viewer and you have not subscribed, please endeavor to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us across all social media at Active Citizens. You can find me on my personal Instagram and Facebook at Sharon NM Chuku and Foma.
You can find me on Facebook at Oji Sophia and on Instagram at Miss Alex.
All right, so we'll come your way again later today. Do have a great morning.